My solo trip to Rome has finally began. I have been dreaming of this trip for months and I'm so excited to finally be there. I was a little nervous about traveling alone, but so far it's gonna be great. I am going to do all the sightseeing that I've always wanted to do in Rome, as well as see all of the sites that I've read about in books. I felt a sense of excitement and anticipation as soon as I stepped off the plane and onto the tarmac at Rome's Fiumicino airport. After picking up my luggage, I made my way through customs and security. Once I passed the last checkpoint, I took a deep breath of fresh air and relaxed a bit after such a long flight. Then I headed toward the ground transportation area where I was able to catch a ride into the city. As I exited the airport and hailed a taxi, the sights and sounds of Rome immediately enveloped me. The driver expertly navigated through the winding streets, past ancient ruins and bustling piazzas, as I took in the sights and sounds of the city. Look around. I can see some great architecture. There are many buildings made of brick and stone with ornate designs and intricate carvings on the fronts. Some of them are quite tall too. Wow, it's beautiful. I can't wait to explore the city and get a closer look at some of these amazing structures. But before I get there, let's stop by my hotel to get checked in. Finally, I arrived at my 5-star hotel. The charming model and located in the heart of Rome's historic center. I was welcomed with a glass of champagne upon arrival, and it was the perfect way to unwind after such a long flight. The lobby was lovely and the hotel staff were friendly and helpful. I was given a room on the 3rd floor overlooking the street below. As I opened the curtains and looked out onto the street, I caught a glimpse of Rome's famous Colosseum just down the street from the hotel. Wow! I couldn't wait to explore the city and all it had to offer. The first thing I did was head straight for the bathroom so that I could freshen up and change into comfortable clothes for my adventures in Rome. By the way, this hotel has the most incredible marble bathroom I have ever seen in my life. While I was freshening up, I decided to check the map and see if there were any nearby attractions that I wanted to visit today. After a few minutes of research, I discovered that there was an ancient temple just a few blocks away that I wanted to see while I was in town. So I closed the bathroom door, grabbed my travel journal, and headed out the door to begin my first day in Rome. I decided to explore the area around the hotel. As I walked down the street, I noticed that many of the shops and cafes were just starting to open for the day. Before long, I found myself in a piazza filled with outdoor cafes and restaurants. As I settled in at a sidewalk table, I enjoyed a delicious espresso coffee and a slice of Italian pizza. It was the perfect way to start my day in Rome. Over the next few days, I'm gonna spend my time wandering the winding streets of Rome, marveling at the beautiful architecture and rich history that seem to be around every corner. I took the time to visit all the popular tourist attractions like St. Peter's Basilica and the Trevi Fountain. I also made time to find some hidden gems off the beaten path like the Circus Maximus and the Pantheon. It was a great way to learn more about the history of this ancient city. Next day morning, I woke up late and decided to take a nice long walk before breakfast. When I finally got back to my room, I had time for a shower and a good breakfast before I headed out again in search of adventure. After breakfast, I explored some of the local shops and restaurants in the area before heading to the Colosseum to take in the famous gladiator fights. Yeah, I admit, I'm a bit of a history buff, so I actually enjoyed seeing the shows in the Colosseum just as much as visiting the ruins themselves. After a few hours exploring Rome on foot, I decided to take a break and treat myself to some gelato, for research purposes of course. That was definitely the highlight of the day. Later that evening, I met up with some friends at a local cafe for dinner and drinks before heading to bed to get ready for another day of exploring.
My third day in Rome has begun, and I'm ready to get out there and discover some more of the city's famous landmarks. Yesterday, I spent most of my time exploring the city on foot. But today I want to take a break from walking and explore some of Rome's most beautiful attractions by car. After breakfast, I'm taking a drive over to the Vatican City to explore the Vatican Museums and St. Peter's Basilica. After that, I'm going to head to the Trevi Fountain to take a few minutes to appreciate the beauty of this iconic landmark before heading out for an Italian lunch on Isola Tiberina. In the afternoon, I'll spend a couple of hours exploring the shops on Via Condotti before treating myself to one last gelato stop. By this time tomorrow, I will have covered most of the main tourist sites in Rome. I feel myself becoming totally immersed in the Italian culture with each passing day. I'm grateful for the opportunities one have to learn more about this beautiful culture while I'm here in Rome. I think my biggest accomplishment so far has been learning a few simple phrases in Italian so I can communicate more easily with the locals here in the city. And I'm glad I took this trip by myself because now that I've learned more about traveling alone, I wouldn't trade this experience for anything. Each experience I've had on this trip has taught me so much about myself and the kind of person I want to be in the future. While it may be a little challenging being away from my family and friends for the next few weeks, I know in the end it will be well worth it. I feel comfortable traveling on my own for the first time now, and I know I can do just about anything I put my mind to. On my last day in Rome, I was determined to visit one last attraction that I hadn't gotten a chance to check out while I was still in the city. It was a vintage fashion store that was just a few blocks from the hotel. I headed over there early in the morning so I could browse for souvenirs before the crowds arrived. I was immediately greeted by an enthusiastic salesperson who offered to take me on a personal tour of the store. He was very friendly and seemed eager to share his knowledge of the store with me. I spent almost an hour browsing the store and talking to the shopkeeper before finally deciding on a few items to bring home with me. As my trip came to an end, I couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness at having to leave such a wonderful city. But the memories of my trip to Rome would stay with me forever, and I knew I would be back someday to experience all that the city had to offer once again. Now I'm going to do more solo trips all around the world. This trip has showed me that I'm completely capable of traveling by myself and have a great time doing it. It just takes a little bit of planning and a lot of faith to be able to go out and do things on your own. It was amazing to discover a whole new side of me while I was abroad. I'm sure there's a lot more waiting to be discovered in the years ahead.